He's been performing crazy stunts and making people laugh for decades. And later this month, Steve-O will be making a stop right here in Maine.
The Jackass superstar will be taking center stage at Merrill Auditorium for his bucket list stand-up comedy tour. And we wanted to find out what fans could expect.
Cameraman, go way down there!
When you stop to think about outrageous things you've seen on television, chances are MTV's Jackass comes to mind. The hit reality comedy series turned movie empire follows Johnny Knoxville, Bam Margera, Steve-O, and others as they perform wild and crazy stunts, all for pure entertainment.
This is drywall dropping. Whoa.
Years later, Steve-O is still going strong. He's got a podcast, a new book, a comedy tour, the latest Jackass movie, and even his own hot sauce line.
I feel a little bit overwhelmed, if I'm honest. There's been a lot of anxiety around trying to stay on top of my emails. I know it's a weird thing to be anxious about, but my email box has been like up at around 700 emails, and it's overwhelming. It gets to a point where I almost just like want to throw my arms up and give it. But I've gotten back down to about 150 now.
Later this month, I think it's April 28th, you have your show here in Portland at Merrill Auditorium, the Bucket List Tour. What can fans expect at your show?
Well, if they're not over a certain age, then it's very illegal for them to be there.
Oh, God.
It's very strict. It's not for kids. That's one thing for sure. Not only will I bring you on a magical journey through the most utterly absurd bucket list you've ever heard of, after each bit, I'm going to screen it for you so you will actually see these events take place. Which means you're gonna see some stuff. It's so crazy. I mean, the show that I'm doing is so crazy. I've been doing this this comedy tour for 12 years now, and over the course of those 12 years, it's gradually evolved into a multimedia experience where for each new tour now, I set about raising the bar for what I consider crazy. And I film all this super crazy stuff and make a comedy show out of it. And then at the show itself, after each bit, I screen the footage of the item being checked off the bucket list. And I mean, I'm talking, well, I don't even know how much I can describe on your show. It's so wild. But we've got like medical professionals assuming disguises to administer stolen drugs. There's one where I've got general anesthesia drugs being administered while I'm riding a bicycle. It's I really went overboard on this one, and I love it. I love it so much. It's all stuff that I never would have been able to do for Jackass, and and I did it with no insurance and just like really crazy stuff. It all worked out pretty well, and I ended up with a truly phenomenal show, unlike any other. It's really exciting.
Yeah, well, and I'm glad that you mentioned about you doing the things that you couldn't really do for Jackass, because I wondered what kind of approach you would take with the show, if you wanted it to be similar to Jackass or if you wanted it to be different in your own thing.
I mean, it's very different from Jackass in that it's definitely a comedy show. And what's exciting about it is that I've allowed all of my various worlds to converge. So, the video component certainly feels like Jackass. And, the idea that I have no limitations in, there's no rules for me to follow. Like with Jackass, you can't do anything illegal, but like, but I can for my stuff, you know.
You can reach that bar for sure.
Right. And mostly, I think that what I'm proud of, I think, is that as crazy as this show is, it's also really clever.
You've been sober now for 12 years.
14 years.
14 years.
Uh-huh.
Congratulations. That's
thank
a
you.
milestone. Have projects like this one, like your podcast, the book, does it help you? Has it kind of kept you on the straight and narrow, would you say?
I would put it the other way around. You know, sobriety for me is absolutely my number one priority. You know, I mean, here I'm talking about doing all this crazy stuff and it's illegal and it's not, you know, like I've got my own moral compass and, you know, like there's plenty of stuff that's okay for Steve-O to do. With, you know, like so I've reconciled all of the craziness with my recovery. My recovery comes first. And because I'm in recovery and clean and sober, I'm not wasting my time, you know, like to be chasing, you know, drugs and alcohol and you know, and promiscuous activity. All that stuff is such a waste of time. And, you know, it's so much wreckage and just kind of bad energy. But I don't have any of that. I don't waste my time. And as such, I'm really able to focus all of my time and energy on being productive. And that's the only way that I'm able to accomplish as much as I have.
Tickets are still available for Steve-O's show, and if you would like to see even more of our interview with him, just head to our website or our mobile app. I gotta say, Rob, I was pretty surprised when I was talking to him because his energy is so big and explosive, and then I talked to him and he was so chill, so down to earth, super, super funny. And I just have to mention, I asked him, if you could tell your younger self anything, what would it be? Thinking, I don't know, you know, wear a helmet, don't go after a colony of bees, something. Floss your teeth. That was his advice. So, dental hygiene, everybody.
Sound advice. Not
Yes.
what you expected from Steve-O, but excellent advice for anyone.